have good faith disagreement with Kennedy's orders. He does not care. He is a lawless criminal. And we have basically a criminal regime. And if you believe that they are going to abide by court orders, they're not going to do it. They're already probably trying to slide around the court orders. Donald Trump, we know, is basically a Matryoshka doll, how do you say that, of lies and mendacity. Basically, he'll lie, then he'll lie about lying, then he'll lie about lying about lying, and then he'll lie about lying about lying about lying. And that's what he does all the time. And that's what he's doing here.
It wasn't a reporter, a comedian, or a political rival who damaged Donald Trump's image the most. That credit goes to George Conway. He didn't shout or insult. He calmly dropped a bomb on national television, one built from facts, analysis, and undeniable reality. This wasn't some partisan rant. It was a psychological breakdown. Trump wasn't merely criticized, he was laid bare. Conway wasn't there for cheers. He came to shatter the illusion. Within moments, Trump's online echo chamber erupted with outrage. Social platforms exploded in fury, but the damage was done. Conway pierced the illusion, and what he exposed unsettled even Trump's closest allies.
One of the things that is sort of interesting about the Trump people is they're not loyal to each other, and not even to Trump in some ways. I don't mean the Trump voters, but I mean the people around him. They are all as self-interested as him. They are all trying to make money by acting as gatekeepers to Trump.
Toward Trump, when George Conway looked directly into the lens and voiced what countless Americans whisper behind closed doors, he showed no hesitation. Donald Trump isn't just unethical. He lacks the mental steadiness required to lead with a surgeon's calm. Conway portrayed a figure acting recklessly, indifferent to others, and fueled by rage rather than logic. He described a man obsessed with authority, incapable of remorse, and willing to tear down any pillar that resisted him. These weren't random musings, they resembled a clinical evaluation. And Conway's words carry weight. He's not some outsider, he's a seasoned conservative who once shared a home with Trump's closest aide. He witnessed the chaos up close, and now he's igniting a fire under the spotlight. Republicans didn't merely hear criticism, they heard an alarm bell, urging caution. The descent has started.
How extraordinary this situation is, where the President of the United States, who is a convicted criminal and who has been indicted on federal charges, is firing the FBI director for the stated reason that the FBI director conducted a search based on probable cause found by a United States district judge to search for stolen, secret, classified documents that he hid from the FBI and lied about. Yeah. And then, lo and behold, the documents were right where the search warrant said they were. So this seems a bit, it's me. It's all about Trump. Yes, he has the lawful power to fire the FBI director, but let's see him do it, and let's have him explain that it was all about him and the fact that he committed a crime and he got called out on it.
Trump unraveled after Conway's appearance, and not without cause. For the first time, a figure from within the Republican circle refused to tread carefully. Conway didn't just label Trump a narcissist, he confronted the entire framework that enables him. He declared, "This isn't leadership, it's retaliation." In that moment, Trump's recent moves punishing judges, menacing prosecutors stopped looking like isolated controversies. They became warning signs. Conway exposed the blueprint, the disorder, the decay, and that's what hit hardest. When someone reveals that chaos isn't accidental but deliberate, it strips away more than dignity. It removes the illusion of command. Trump, a man obsessed with dominance, began to visibly crumble, live, and in front of everyone.
To call out the corruption. And that's one of the things I think that people miss about the authoritarian label that is well expressed in Ruth's book, Strongmen. It's like, we may not see jackbooted thugs on the streets at this point. All right, maybe with the immigrants.
With immigrants and any Palestinian
What
protesters,
we will see is the first thing that you see in any kind of regime that's run by a narcissistic sociopath who only cares about himself and advancing his own power is corruption.
Yeah.
The corruption is going to make our heads spin, and that's the most important thing to focus on in the first instance.
But Conway didn't limit his fire to Trump. He scorched the entire legal structure that enabled him. He directly criticized elite law firms, accusing them of compromising their ethics out of fear of Trump's retaliation. "You're not just neglecting your duty," he said. "You're betraying the nation." These weren't clever remarks, they were serious allegations. Conway understands how that realm operates. He spent 3 decades at the center of corporate law. Now, he's turning the spotlight back on it. Because Conway wasn't simply arguing that Trump poses a threat, that's already understood. His message went deeper. Trump is infectious, and the infection has reached the legal, political, and economic foundations of America. The system isn't collapsing under pressure, it's surrendering.
I guess they don't like me, but let me just tell you, these are losers from day one. Guys like Bill Kristol, he's 0-32. George Conway, you take a look at him. Just take a look at that guy. The man's a stone-cold loser. So they should not call it the Lincoln Project. It's not fair to Abraham Lincoln, a great president. They should call it the Losers Project. Okay, thanks.
Then came the moment that shifted the entire dialogue. Conway didn't just go after Trump's decisions, he coolly dismantled the performance itself, which made it even more unsettling. He didn't treat Trump and Melania's relationship as off limits. He viewed it as a scripted display unraveling at the seams. A production. Conway alluded to the smiles, the staged photos, the holiday handholding, all crafted illusions. And suddenly, the grand deception cracked. What if everything surrounding Trump, his marriage, his media dominance is a facade? What if it's just a brand pitched to a nation craving authority figures? Conway never insulted Melania or speculated. Instead, he dismantled the foundation beneath Trump's public persona. And in doing so, he rattled the final illusion Trump hadn't yet set ablaze.
You don't want to diagnose him, but I think if you look at the diagnostic criteria for narcissistic personality disorder and antisocial personality disorder, he fits every single one of them. It's like the criteria were made to describe him. And I think what we saw with this tweet yesterday is that last final collapse of Donald Trump's mental state. I mean, you think about it, those were like 50, 60, 70,000 people in the aggregate in five rallies in different states. That's loopier than saying that the moon landings were staged, because there were tens of thousands of people were there. To think that is crazy, and to try to sell it to people is just as crazy. He's done. His brain is fried.
Trump's reaction wasn't calculated, it was reflexive. He rushed to Truth Social like a cornered man, lashing out at judges, the press, and even longtime allies. But none of it landed, because Conway didn't use rage. He used clarity. Every one of Trump's outbursts only confirmed what Conway had said. Trump didn't deny the truths, he acted them out. Conway cautioned that as legal consequences drew nearer, Trump would become more volatile and erratic. Why? Because, he said, Trump's ego cannot bear being exposed. Conway made it unmistakable. This isn't just a courtroom fight for Trump. It's more than political bruising. It's a psychological collapse playing out before the eyes of the nation, and it's happening in real time.
Yeah, I do think that. I think it was most propitious timing. I think this needed to be done no matter who the Democratic nominee was, for the simple reason that Donald Trump has been getting basically this easy pass double standard on his behavior, because we've seen so much of it, and it's basically been normalized, even though it's completely bizarre. We almost kind of don't bat an eyelash at him talking about sharks and electrocution and Hannibal Lecter. I mean, he's been doing crazy stuff like that for years. So he has this weird advantage, and that's part of the advantage. The other part of the advantage is that people are afraid to talk about mental health issues of any sort, lest they give offense or they don't want to stigmatize people. But I mean, this is just so different. I mean, this is the man, the question, this is the question of the mental stability of somebody who would have control of the second largest nuclear arsenal on the planet. I mean, this is just, you just can't look at it the same.
It wasn't just Conway's words that left people speechless. It was how he said them, composed, measured, without shouting or launching personal insults. Like a physician delivering a clinical assessment of criminal behavior, he laid it out. Trump, he explained, was ready to incite violence, twist the legal system, and treat loyalty as a bargaining chip. While Trump railed against Marxists and imaginary witch hunts, Conway dismantled him like disassembling a malfunctioning model. This wasn't an argument, it felt more like a farewell to Trump's moral standing. And the more Conway spoke, the more evident it became. This wasn't just about one man, it was about a nation waking up to a long-standing illusion. The emperor, it turns out, was never clothed. Donald Trump is dragging the Republican Party off a cliff. He's a man without boundaries, and his party is too intimidated to confront him. Look at the moment where he talks about Putin, someone who murders dissenters, civilians, and even women and children, and Trump remains focused solely on his own vendetta over 2020. He muses about Hunter Biden, deflects, and even imagines a world where President Navalny might one day reveal Russia's own Trump files, joking that such revelations would be fun. Conway didn't just question Trump's leadership, he portrayed it as a wreckage-filled path. He pointed to how Trump ruined the immigration deal, poisoned bipartisan efforts, and weaponized instability. And none of it was accidental. Conway said Trump doesn't just create chaos, he thrives on it. He feeds off disorder. The destruction of systems under Trump isn't random, it's calculated. Because when institutions collapse, Trump can pose as the lone savior. Conway painted a haunting portrait, a man who lights the blaze and then demands the fire truck. This wasn't a debate. It was a revelation for Republicans who still believe this is business as usual. It was a brutal reflection, a mirror that showed them exactly what they've enabled.
Trump could not give about anyone else's life. It's all about what satisfies his narcissistic thirst. You absolutely know he has no idea what he's doing, and that his guiding light is his own ego and not the best interest of the United States of America.
And then Conway delivered a brutal comparison. He likened Trump to a child playing checkers against his own reflection, while the world plays chess. It wasn't funny. That image went viral, not because it amused, but because it struck a nerve. It was disturbingly accurate. Trump doesn't evaluate decisions, he acts on impulse, driven by fantasy and knee-jerk reactions. Conway demonstrated that Trump isn't governing, he's improvising. His choices respond to headlines, polls, or whatever boosts his ego in the moment. That's not leadership. That's chaos parading as strength. And the most unsettling part, he's doing it all over again. With a fresh campaign, ongoing court battles, and a base that still treats him like a divine figure. Conway's message was chilling. This isn't behind us. The real storm may still be ahead.
I mean, this is just insight into the mind of Donald Trump. It's basically like if you took someone's brain and put it into a blender.
Sure.
And then just pulled out neurons randomly. But he's got probably about, all his neurons basically say about 5 things.
Right.
I'm great. I won the 2020 election. Sleepy Joe. Hillary.
The replicants didn't push back. They stayed silent, and Conway understood that silence often signals consent. He wasn't speaking to liberals. His words were aimed at GOP donors, consultants, and power brokers, the ones who recognize Trump's threat but stay quiet because he delivers victories. Conway's warning was blunt. You're not just supporting him, you're building the machine that will destroy you. It was harsh, but it resonated. This time, the spotlight wasn't on Trump. It was on the ones hiding behind him. Conway's message rang loud. History is paying attention, and when this story is told, it won't just catalog the falsehoods Trump spread. It will name those who stood by and let him keep spreading them.
When Trump won in 2016, your name was floated as someone who might work in his administration. You turned that down, and
I was offered the job of head of the Civil Division of the Department of Justice, and I filled out all the forms. They ran my background check, and I was interviewing people who were going to work underneath me. I was sort of far along there, and then I just started having this queasy feeling like I don't really want to work in this administration, because what I saw was a shit show and a dumpster fire. And I just got to the point where I just couldn't do it, and so I didn't. And I was one of the best decisions I'd ever made. Okay, I admit I was wrong to support Donald Trump in 2016. I was horribly wrong. It was a horrible exercise in judgment. I knew better. I should have known better.
Then Conway delivered the most devastating blow of all. Trump's mindset isn't just problematic, it's deteriorated. Freed from restraint, Conway focused on Trump's recent rambling speeches about sharks, vengeance, and imaginary crowds. He said what no other Republican has dared to admit. This isn't a strategy, it's a symptom of cognitive decline. Suddenly, the MAGA movement resembled a dispute in a care facility. Conway didn't mock, he analyzed. He identified Trump's deep craving for affirmation, his fixation on enemies, and his constant stream of lies. It all pointed to a man in mental decline. And if that individual still holds the nuclear codes, or could again, then we're not witnessing a return. We're witnessing a collapse, unfolding in real time. And yet, not a single Republican leader appears willing to stop it.
It's all about what satisfies his narcissistic thirst. You absolutely know he has no idea what he's doing, and that his guiding light is his own ego and not the best interest of the United States of America. I mean, this is just insight into the mind of Donald Trump. It's basically like if you took someone's brain and put it into a blender.
Sure.
And then just pulled out neurons randomly. But he's got probably about, all his neurons basically say about 5 things.
Right.
I'm great. I won the 2020 election. Sleepy Joe. Hillary.
Mm-hmm. Yes.